There's a common narrative online that says one of two things. Number one, that real estate really isn't worth it. You'd be better off just putting your money in the stock market. And then the second one is real estate doesn't actually take a long time. That's the word I'm going to go with. It doesn't have to be less gratuitous than investing in the stock market. Here's the reason why. The reason real estate can be a good option and the reason it can be a very bad option is because of systems. You have a process in place for something or not. Most of the complaints I hear about real estate online are that it's too slow and that it's not as safe and it's a lot of hassle and that's why a lot of people sell. I would like to push back on that idea and say that no, yes, those things do exist, but I would rather argue it's because something isn't being utilized that could be utilized. Today, I'm going to talk about what makes real estate go by quickly. How can we make real estate actually go by very smoothly? It feels very step-by-step. It's a repeatable, rinsable process, and it's gonna save you tons of money, if not time. So let's get into it. We have what I call, not me, I didn't coin this term. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is a swim lane. It's like a flow chart, except we organize by who's responsible for what thing. If you've seen my last video, you're gonna see that standard operating procedures are a way of life. I don't care if you're doing a business where it's vending machines. I don't care if you're selling Girl Scout cookies on the side of the road. A standard operating procedure should be used for everything. Let's talk about it. So we have a couple of items I want to discuss first. Number one, and by the way, I made this on Lucidchart, not an affiliate or a sponsor whatsoever. I just find the platform convenient. Use whatever you want, draw it by hand, I really don't care. Use it, write it in Excel, it doesn't matter. So I've got 4 things here on the left. Let's show you that. So we have ABC Real Estate, maybe that's the name of your real estate company. We've got the real estate agent, we've got the seller, and we've got the contractor. Today, we're gonna talk about one specific standard operating procedure in specific, which is how to buy a deal from start to finish. I've gone over the nitty-gritty in the previous videos, but in this one, we're gonna kind of give a top-down view and go by it step by step. So here, like most flowcharts, you start, and then you run a deal analyzer. I have a video on the four square method. I coined it a lot from what Brandon Turner did. Is it Brandon Turner or Brandon Green? One of those guys from Bigger Pockets. He made a video on it, and I added my own little spice into it. Watch that video at some point. But so you run the deal. Let's say you find a house on Zillow. Maybe you've got a wholesaler. You're going to run a deal on it. You're going to run the math. And let's say it is not affordable. Okay, well then just run the analyzing deal again. Maybe find another house, whatever. Or the other option, because there's really 3 options. You got run the deal. You have offer a different price to make it a deal to see if the seller will bite or not. And the third option is that they are, the math works. So let's assume the deal doesn't work, but maybe we could get to where we need to be math-wise. We put it in an offer, so we offer a different price, or maybe some clever terms. And then either they accept or reject the offer, and in which case, you kind of just go into a roundabout circle. The next thing, let's assume that the deal is affordable, and the math makes sense. All right, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to gather loan docs for the lender. We're going to find some kind of financer out there. And let's say, do they approve the loan application? Let's say we gather our documents, we send it to the lender, and they give us the, a loan application. If they say yes, well, great, and they send us the terms. Do we like the loan terms? If we like the loan terms, okay, well then, great, we just keep moving on. If we don't, then obviously we circle back, or maybe we find another company to finance our deal. A lot of times, and I would say this is very important for you, you can find a lot of these terms before you even do any of the work. So yes, you could probably switch this around a bit. That's not the important part. The important part is that it exists in the flow. All right, let's continue. So now we have sign loan documents and obtain homeowner's insurance. Let's say you like the terms they give you, they give the application, the loan application, you like the terms. You're going to sign that document, and then you're going to go out into the marketplace, and you're going to look for homeowner's insurance for this rental property. You're going to secure private money, friends, family, colleagues, maybe other investors, people that you personally know and that you trust and trust you to do lending, to lend to your business. Again, I have a video on that. Not going to discuss how that looks, but I do have a video on it. Go look at it. really important. I'm surprised it only got like 10 views. All right, now you're gonna send an offer letter to the seller. Does the seller approve of your offer? If no, okay, well then just go ahead and adjust the terms. If yes, great. Now we're gonna go to the closing table. At the closing table, we're gonna have the real estate agent, the seller and their agent, and we're gonna have our business. And we're all gonna sign at the closing table at the exact same time. By the way, some financiers and some, if you're doing like a creative deal, like let's say you're homeowner financing, sometimes you have to have insurance on that house or the financer will not disperse the money, the funds to buy the property. So get your insurance, I forget what the document's called. It's a statement or something. But get that before you do anything else. All right, now you're gonna look at, let's say as soon as you've signed the property, right? You're gonna review the risk register. Again, I had a video on it. I'll make a more in-depth video in the future. But you're gonna review, what did we screw up last time on our deals? What can we do better? What are our pain points? What did we learn that's not working for us? How do we make it better? Let's repeat that or not repeat it in the future. All right, at this point, now we're gonna submit the scope of work to the contractor. By the way, I should have written earlier in the steps, but when you walk a property, you should also bring the contractor with you. My fault, I forgot to add that in. That would probably go in where you analyze the deal and, you wanna walk the property. So it would happen in that step. But anyway, you give the scope of work to the contractor and you say, hey, these are the things that we talked about when we walked the property together. Do you agree to signing this and agree to the terms of the property? If they say yes, great. They sign it and we can begin work. If they say no, all right, well, we need to adjust our scope of work and then have them re-sign it or whatever. Maybe they didn't like the price. They didn't agree on the price. Whatever, doesn't matter. We need to very much make sure that we agreed on what's being done and what's the price that's being done. Very important. You should screen your contractors just as much as you screen your tenants. All right, so we monitor an issue. So they do the work, they do progress, then we issue, as soon as they hit a milestone, then we give them a portion of the payment we agreed on. Great. Now, if they find something, let's say they find out, oh, there's mold and we have to do more work that we originally didn't agree on. In the professional world, that's called a change order. If there's no changes needing done, then we move on. If there is, then guess what? We're gonna write another scope of work or a change order, and they're going to agree to it and agree to a price, and then we're going to move on with our lives, but everything will be written down and everything will be agreed on. Now that we agree to that, they continue the work. Guess what? They hit another milestone. We're going to pay them for that milestone. We're not paying them all at once because we don't want them to just run away. We want to pay them by increments because they still want to keep being paid. All right. Now, let's say they complete the work. We're going to issue the final payment. Obviously, we need to review the work that they did. In the construction world, they call that a punch list. My voice didn't crack. They call that a punch list. You walk through the property or whatever work the contractor performed, and you create a list of, hey, did we miss anything before we issue the final payment? If everything's good, issue the final payment. If not, ask them to complete the punch list first. Refinance loan to long term. So now that we've fixed everything in the property, we're going to refinance this. Again, this deal more refers to a hard money loan. If you didn't buy via hard money and you just got a normal DSCR or conventional loan, again, watch another video I have, great. You don't need to watch this part. You've already done it, or this step. You can move on. But if you did get hard money, then you need to refinance. And then guess what? Like I've mentioned in another video, you find a tenant, you list advertisements out there, you filter your tenants. And then when everything's done and the tenant starts paying, guess what you guys do? You and your team, whether it's your contractor or the other people working in business with you, or if you're just doing work yourself, you meet with yourself and you review the lessons that you learned, because I guarantee there's probably something that you learned that you should have implemented or should not have done this whole process. And that's it. You just rinse and repeat from this whole thing. If you guys want this PDF, if this is a help to you, let me know and I'll just make it downloadable. That's it. I'm signing off. Goodbye. And subscribe, please, because these videos are free and it helps me reach a bigger audience.